Welcome back to Pulse on the Market. I'm your host, Jaden Vrains, founder of Vrains Capital, and let's get right into it for today. So today's going to be a little shorter, but nonetheless, today is action-packed with stories and with speculation. Today is a very, very, very big day. NVDA will report their earnings, which is going to have a huge influence on how the market performs tomorrow and today after the close. So NVIDIA, they're set to report. Let's pull it up here. I gotta move this out of the way. So their estimates are 4.593 earnings per share, and their estimated revenue is 20.395 billion. So we see another sellout in the market today. We saw that Palo Alto Networks dropped $96 a share. That's 26%, and it's kind of trickled into a selling of the entire market. NVIDIA is down another 2%, another $14 per share at $680. And just in regards to NVIDIA, so this is huge because they're the leading sector of technology, and there's lots of speculation of it being overvalued or not valued enough. And so this earnings report is going to give a consensus of how the technology sector is doing, which is the leading sector right now in the market. So if this report does not meet expectations, then we could see a sellout in the entire market. So it wouldn't be a half bad idea to either hedge the position with just buying puts or whatnot on your current positions, because this earnings report could affect the entire market in general. And to be honest, the market isn't looking too great in general. We see that the yields for the bonds are inversed right now. So the 1 year and 2 year is it's a higher yield than the 10-year, 20-year, 30-year. So this is not a good reflection, because when this happens, it's usually a key indicator of just a recession on the way. It's not guaranteed, but it is one of the factors of a recession. So that's not a good look for the program. And also, we're just seeing that it really is out on a limb. There's speculation of another rate cut or rate hike from the Fed, which would create a huge sell-off in the market, because the market went up November, December, early January because we were expecting a rate cut from the Fed. And because of the speculation and this expectation of a rate cut, the market began rising. There was more volume, more people trading because of this rate cut that was expected. But the Fed came out and said that is not going to happen. So unfortunately, the rate cut as of now will not happen. We'll find out more in June, July-ish if a rate cut does indeed happen. But for now, it is very uncertain, and this is the second day in a row we've seen a sellout in the market. It's not down terrible. The Dow is down 0.24%, the Nasdaq down 0.72%, S&P down 0.24%, the small caps are down 0.46%, and the 10-year Treasury yields are up 0.28%. So it's not terrible as a whole, but it's the second down day that we've seen. And typically when we've had a down day in the past, in the last couple months, we see an immediate upturn the next day. But this is not the case for today. And so stay tuned for NVIDIA. I genuinely believe that it would be gambling to have a position on this going either direction of doing options or whatnot, because we don't know what's going to happen with NVIDIA. And there's so much speculation on both sides. Some sides are saying it's overvalued, or it's way too overbought in that their net income doesn't match their market cap, of how companies like Amazon and Google just have better numbers in comparison to market caps. But it's all in comparison. It's compared to what? So compared to their industry, they're actually doing quite well, especially in the technology sector, that their numbers are phenomenal. And their forward PE ratio is suspected to drop, which is a good sign of future earnings. And there's people that are saying that there's going to be a lot of competition, that people don't want to rely on NVIDIA, so they're going to start creating their new chips. Others are saying that NVIDIA will start creating personalized chips for companies like Meta and whatnot, just big companies. They're going to create specialized chips for them. And so it really could go either way. It's difficult to tell, especially with the stock that has been growing exponentially recently. And so the majority of their profits actually aren't from gaming anymore. They once were from just like the gaming GPUs and whatnot, but now it's mainly on just like the H11 or H100 chips, just for the networking and storage for AI. So that's been the biggest source of income for them. So we'll see after the close. I'm kind of antsy for it. I'm curious to see what happens to it. All right, just some little news around the world. So the Russia-Ukraine war. So around 60 Russian troops were reportedly killed in an airstrike on a training area in just eastern Ukraine. And also Russian forces are escalating attacks near the southern Ukrainian village of Robotin. So that war is continuing. That's been going on for way too long. Israel fired on a food, they launched an attack on a food convoy. So the Israeli forces fired, it says here that they fired on a UN convoy delivering food supplies in central Gaza on February 5th. So there's just reports that show damaging cargo and highlighting the challenges of aid delivery. So, man, that kind of sucks. Especially if you're waiting on that food, man, that would be sad to watch. But there you have it. Sweet. So, let's get to news on some of these stocks. So, Walmart, they're prepping for the future. They're making big moves, and it's big news. And they had their 3-for-1 stock split, which opened up an opportunity for Amazon to join the Dow, because the Dow took a hit from that because it's based on just stock price. And so the Dow kicked out Walgreens and they added, where's it at? They added Amazon. So Amazon now joins the Dow. I told you guys that in February is more, oh man, I can't talk. It was very possible that the Dow kicks someone out and adds someone in, whether it be one company or a few. For now, it's just Amazon. And this will go into effect before trading on Monday. So before then, it'll officially be added to the Dow. Congrats to Amazon. Big news. Jeff Bezos from Amazon just sold over 14 million more shares of Amazon. So that's valued at $2.4 billion. And making the total sold in the past month, 50 million shares. That is a pretty penny. So, shoot, you just sold around $7 billion worth, or even more. What am I saying? Yeah, around $8-9 billion worth of shares of Amazon. That is absurd. I can't even imagine what that amount of money would look like. There's been a leadership change for SpaceX. Tom Ochinero, so their SVP of commercial business, he is departing. He has some family medical matters, and so he cannot attend. He cannot be there. For recent earnings, Palo Alto Networks, like I was saying before, the revenue was reported at $1.98 billion, which is 19% year over year. So they beat it by $4 million. And their EPS was, they beat it by 16 cents at $1.46. Yeah, that's up 39% year over year. So why did the stock see such a big sellout? It's because of the guidance. That's one of the biggest factors of price movement after earnings report. And they lowered the estimates. They're saying they basically said we're not going to reach those. They lowered them a little bit, which is not a good look. Investors don't like seeing that, so we saw a major sellout. I personally don't think it should have dropped that much. I think that's a lot of just Mr. Market, people selling just based on the news. And I do think that it's going to decrease the just because of the fact that it's decreasing the stock price, I do think that Palo Alto Networks isn't a bad investment right now in terms of a value stock, because they did it for us. They gave us discounted shares. Whether or not I'm going to buy, we'll have to see in a little bit. I'll have to do more research, but I'll let you guys know on that. Sweet. Let's see here. So Mercado Libre is also going to report tomorrow after the close. And analysts are estimating $4.21 billion in revenue, which is 37% year over year, and $7.08 per share. And that is up 117% year over year. The stock ticker is MELI, is MELI. Mercado Libre, it's from South America. And they're basically like they engage in the development of just online commerce. It's similar to, if I'm correct, sorry if I'm wrong, it's like Amazon type for South America is what I believe. I'm not exactly sure, but they're worth, let's see here. Yeah, they're worth $87 billion, and year to date they're doing pretty well. They're up 11% over last year, 58%. So it's not a bad investment for Meli. I do like this stock quite a bit. It's priced at $1,733, so it's a very, very expensive stock, but it's not a bad look. And I'll have to do more research on Meli later on to see if it's a good fit for Variance Capital, but I guess we'll see. And they also have a history of surpassing their expectations, so it could do even better than planned. Sweet. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. I forgot to give a report yesterday, but that's okay. Well, let's pull it up right here. Okay, Bitcoin, here we go. So it's at 51,162. So we've seen a drop of 1.27% today in Bitcoin. This was expected. It's not going to just ramp up as of right now. We saw a slight spike, and then we're going to see a little pullback, and maybe see another spike or a stronger pullback. But these pullbacks affect stocks like Coinbase. It's down 3.3%. We see stocks like Marathon and Riot, which are also just Bitcoin mining industries. Marathon's down almost 4%, and Riot is down. Let's take a look here. It's down 2%. So Bitcoin still fluctuates a lot on just Coinbase, Marathon, Riot, all companies associated with crypto. And even the crypto industry fluctuates a lot with the price of Bitcoin. So the crypto industry is not big enough yet to have like subsectors that are independent. Like for the stock market, you have utilities, real estate, you have finance, like the different sectors. And in cryptocurrency, it's not big enough yet to have independent sectors. So Bitcoin really rules them all. And if it's like the queen bee, if that goes, what that stock says or what Bitcoin says, the rest follow. And so if it shoots up in price, the majority of the altcoins, the smaller coins, will rise as well. Same with the inverse of it going down. All right, so today I told you guys we're going to be short today, and for tomorrow I will have an entertaining show because we're going to see a lot happening in the market, and this should be exciting. I'm excited for one. I love huge catalyst moments like this, and I hope I can catch the trend quick enough to make a little bit of money, but we'll have to see. Once again, here's my little ghetto. Oh no, I don't have it pulled up. My little disclaimer. Oh, this is awkward. Hold up. Oh, there she is. 1 second. All right, disclaimer. This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. The content provided is based on the host's personal opinions and experiences. Listeners are advised to conduct their own research and seek the advice of qualified professionals before making any investment decisions. The host and guests do not guarantee the accuracy or completeness of the information shared, and they are not responsible for any actions taken based on the content of this podcast. Investing involves risk. It's all risky. And past performance is not indicative of future results. The host and guests are not responsible for any losses or damages that may occur as a result of investments made after listening to this podcast. Love you guys. Thank you so much for listening today, and I will see you guys tomorrow.